So currently I'm getting ready to remove the body off the frame so I could do at least the rear stress points going through the center of the center channel to the front stress points. And then currently all I have left to do is to remove the shifting linkage, some of the throttle cables, brake lines, and a few other things. And I'll be ready to pull the body off the frame. So on Cadillacs, the majority of everything you're gonna need is gonna be the convertible rack, which we're gonna end up cutting in half, widening it out and doing all the proper stretching. And then make sure, my donor did not have it, but make sure to get the lines and the motor as well. Like that, you're not scavenging, trying to look for another one. The quarter windows and the quarter window regulators we use from the donor as well. We do not, I wouldn't swap these out with the Sebring. Yeah, they look okay. If you're gonna swap them out, I would only ever swap out the Sebring windows for like a 77 to like 79 Cadillac. You know, the one with a different body style. And then just the interior stuff. So like that, I've seen guys do some funky, you know, C-channel or angle iron or whatever to latch their top because they did not have these. Just take these off. Take these. I would take the sun visors, and a lot of people forget this, and they do look real funky when you don't have these. What this is pretty much, it'll go like this onto the header of the car, like that. And what happens is these guys will grab these and not this. And so when they have this to the top, there's a weird 1/4 inch gap where you can see sheet metal. It's real weird. So currently, that's all you need to do a Cadillac. Reason why I didn't pull interior out is because you'll be able to use the rear seat. What you're going to have to do is go here and section these down. The bottom ones are fine, and then I have my measurements off of a real Lecab relay where pretty much it goes here. There's a couple pieces, and it's just a piece of they use cardboard, but just sheet metal or whatever that works. So I got the body off the frame, and currently what I'm doing is I'm cleaning the frame to prep the surface to be able to get welded on. So currently I'm just gonna do from the front all the way to the back. But what I'm thinking of doing, just because I'm already here and it's a good preventative measure, is that these factory seams, they're, you know, this is when GM was first coming up with automated welding. So a lot of this stuff is like, you know, it looks like it was done on a Friday. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna prep this out, and I'm gonna run pretty much just some seams along the factory welds where I'm not plating it, just so I can, you know, it's just keep peace of mind that that these welds aren't gonna break or open if I ever do plan on putting a lay in place setup on this car. So another thing I might do is I might put a reinforcement on top of this pocket. If I do plan on putting switches on this car, it would probably only be on a lay in place setup until I get a full frame, until I fully wrap a frame and get it on the car. So I don't need to do too much, but just some preventative stuff that I know, you know, even on lay in play cars, these will pop out, you know, just the common stuff. But currently I've only been able to do the rear arch, and I have to take apart the front suspension, prep all this out the same way I'm prepping everything else out. And then I'll begin to make templates. And after the templates, I'll grab the plasma cutter, cut it with the 1/4 inch, some 1/4 inch steel. Normally I don't use 1/4 inch, but because this car was never made a convertible and the body doesn't have, you know, the reinforcements that like a stock convertible will make, I'll probably end up just doing 1/4 just as a good preventative measure. All right, so currently what I have done is the rear arches, the factory seams, because, you know, if you're not fully wrapping the frame and you're already at this point, might as well, throw like a seam weld, just to prevent the factory GM, you know, welds to end up cracking, opening, or any of that. So currently tomorrow, I gotta get the flat stock so I can run it from there to there, and I'll tighten up the center. And thinking about it, I'll probably end up boxing here as well to keep from opening, closing. And then same thing on this side. I have the rear arches done. Currently I'm cutting out the plate for this, and then I'm about to make the template to do the belly. Because on these big body Cadillacs, what tends to happen is that the frame caves in when you have hydros. So I'm gonna do the same thing that I did on the rear and the front right there. Is I'll burn in these factory seams. I'll burn these in just cause, and then when I do the belly, I'm gonna do the top, the front, the back, and the bottom. So I'll end up cutting this off and completely doing that and molding it so it looks good. And I feel like that'll be enough for this frame, enough for what I want. So yeah, and then I'm gonna hold off on reinforcing these, because when I do plan on putting hydros, I'm gonna just end up cutting the towers out and bridging it. But currently, I at least want to get the car rolling and driving, at least enjoy the car for a little bit before going to that extent. So, but yeah. And these templates are not difficult to make at all. All it is just, you know, putting some, I get this from Dollar Tree. All you gotta do, I believe, like that. So all you do is put it there, you grab a magnet, and you mark it out. And that's all you do. And then after you mark it out, you get your sheet of metal, and you just lay it down, throw something heavy to hold it for you. Pretty much grab a marker any way you want to mark it, put it there. Then either, you know, cut off disc, torch, or plasma, whatever gets it done, we'll get it done, and you cut it out. And then I personally will have a press. I have a metal press. I'll show you how to do that too. And I get the rough shape. So, because these are quite a bit of, you know, turns and binds and all that. So to get your best result without hammer marks, I use the press just to prevent, you know, a lot of guys, they'll either, you can heat it up as well, that does help bending it, but a lot of these guys, especially with 1/4 inch, they'll smash it, and you'll see a million hammer marks. And mind you, yes, I did hit it with a hammer, you know, in the hard to reach areas, but it's just the final products, you know. If you care about your work, you gotta care how you present your work. So I can show anywhere that does have, any bends, I just use clamps in the press. And then, like, if it's hard to bend, if it's hard to bend, heat it up, use a clamp. There's no reason why you go ham with a hammer for 30 minutes and mangle a piece of metal, and by the time you either have to fill it in with Bondo or you paint it and you have all these nasty, ugly marks. So I'll especially show that when I do the front of the belly, because it's so tight of curves and all that. And I like to do my bellies in one piece, because a lot of guys will do them in 2 pieces and they'll just cut a line straight down the center, and without knowing, you know, the center is a weak point, especially cutting out the brace. And what happens is that either the frame will collapse in or out, and is especially where they crack. Another thing, when guys reinforce these frames, they'll stop at that factory seam. But when you stop your weld here, what happens is that's your weakest point because you're welding onto a stock frame, right? So what I do is I'll stop the reinforcement a little farther away, so when I put the flat stock, this factory seam is covered. Now we're using this metal, and now we're burning into this metal, and when you plate on top, you're not plating exactly right here. So what happens is this is the spot where frames will break, you know. And like I said, this stuff doesn't happen now or tomorrow. You know, some people have the cars 10, 15 years, and at the end you'll see the roofs caved in, or the doors bowing, or the windshield pillars bowing, and that's why. So on this arch, I'm doing the inside of it now. And what I'm currently facing is I had to cut that out. The reason being is because I want to run my plate all the way forward. And that's going to stop me from being able to run a plate from all the way back to all the way forward. So as I'm making my template, you know, I stop my template right here. I cut that out, and then I'm going to just do a section. It's a little easier to cut a section and tape it all together. And I'll tape it from there back, and I'll be able to fully wrap into, because I want to keep this. I do want to keep this, so I'll be able to fully wrap into the ends without banging in anything or any of that issue. Currently, this is my stopping point for the day. I got a few more plates to go. I'll get at it tomorrow. I pretty much just got to do these ones, you know, for both sides. And these two, the rear of the belly and the front of the belly. And then pretty much I'm gonna hold off on the center just because I do want to plate the bottom, weld the center of the C-channel pretty much of the frame to that bottom plate, and then weld pretty much the cap onto it. So I'll probably set that for tomorrow. My goal is to at least get these two plates, those two, and everything kind of finalized with the molding, because I just have it with the rough, mold, and I'm not trying to hide welds or anything. It's just, I mean, I'm going all out with the car. You know, welds are cool. They look good. If they're done properly, you take your time, everything really, really looks good. It's just, I currently just I want a nice smooth look like that. If I want to pattern out the frame or just keep it black or anything, I do have those options. You know, I could run patterns, not worrying about welds or anything. Like, I will still show, you know, the welds. I won't mold, you know, anything that's on factory seams. I just want to have a nice, sleek, good look. And as of that arch and this arch and the inside, I'm not going to mold it. I don't see really a reason why, because I'm not hopping the car. Or if I do hop the car, I'm not going to go fucking hit 90, 95 inches. I'm literally just going to probably get it, maybe tap the bumper, if that. I don't really plan on hopping this car. But yeah, this is my current stopping point, and probably hop on it tomorrow, record a little bit more, and just see how far I get from there.